All right. I think Sarah Spain is on the line with us here, and we could bring her into the conversation. We got a lot of other things. She's the host of Spain and Fitz, weeknights at 7 right here on 97.3 ESPN, and she joins us now via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Sarah, how are you?
I'm pretty all right. How about you guys?
Pretty all right. We're doing really good. We're having a pretty fun conversation. I don't know how it got to where we were going, but I had been told by my producer that you are a fan of The Bachelor, correct?
Oh yeah, I got the Bachelor on my podcast today.
Oh, Matt James is on the podcast today?
Matt James, that's what she said with Sarah Spain. Look it up. Just did an interview with him last night.
Okay, well, I am also a fan, so I'm not ripping anybody here. But this is what I would like to know about Matt James and you. I said, look, he's a good-looking guy. He's got it all going. He's very intelligent. But I can't get on board with somebody wearing that turtleneck. That's not a good look. Am I wrong about that?
Okay, this is funny because, so every year around Christmas time, I have a Festivus episode of my podcast, and I do the airing of grievances, and I have sports people from all over chime in. And somebody's airing of grievance was local sports radio guys who criticize people who have good fits. And I'm not saying necessarily that everyone can get on board with a turtleneck, but I do think that in the same way that the people who complain about my earrings the most on social media are middle-aged dudes, that sometimes the people offering the fashion tips are not the ones that know what's in fashion. I know nothing about you. I don't want to accuse you of wearing
I can't pull it off. I can't pull
anything.
He can pull it off, but I just wonder, like, he's got all these girls coming after him, and I'm wondering if they're like, I just can't get past the fact that he's wearing that bunchy turtleneck. That's all.
Yeah, the turtleneck doesn't really do it for me, but I'm not fully anti-turtleneck. People can pull it off, and it's definitely a thing that's in right now. There's a lot of things that the young people are wearing right now that I'm confused by. If you have a really great body, why are you wearing jeans that make you look like someone's mom? I don't get it, right?
The high-waisted jean is not a good look.
Make them look less, with the bunchy butt. I don't get it, but I'm also old, so I just accept that I'm past the time where I'm the one who gets to decide whether that looks good or not.
Now, are you in the camp that you know that when somebody makes the decision to go white New Balance with blue N, they have given up?
I'm torn on this because I have been told by many that New Balance is the best running shoe, but you should not be wearing them anytime other than while running. Like, you need to have another pair to immediately, as soon as you slow down to a walk, change into a different pair of shoes. So, yes, I do think if you're wearing, especially if you're a guy out there wearing a light-colored jean that barely grazes the top of your New Balances that are squeaky white, you've probably been up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The Wrangler jeans, for sure. That the light Wrangler jeans with the New Balance. The thing for me is, when you see, Gil believes that these people have given up. They made the choice to give up. I believe that they don't even understand what we're talking about. So all these people listening who are wearing the shoe right now, they don't even know. They're not aware that this is even a thing.
Right. They're laughing at the people we're talking about, and they don't know it's them.
All right, well,
unfortunately, I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't think they've given up. They just don't know any better.
So check out Sarah's podcast, Spain and Fitz, where they might extrapolate more on this conversation tonight. You never know. We'll have Jay coming up in his normal spot at 3 o'clock, and we'll ask him as well. But what I want to ask you, Sarah Spain, is your thoughts on the off-season ride Eagles fans are about to go on with this whole Carson Wentz situation, because it seems to change almost every single day. You know, Goff gets traded. Now that means he's going to get traded. He doesn't want to be there. They never said that. The coach won't commit. So how is this story going to play out?
I think they're going to do everything in their power to try to get Wentz to be the guy because of the financial investment in him. Some interesting ties there, right? Because we know, of course, that Sirianni has the connections to Frank Reich, who has the relationship with Wentz, but then also Sirianni's quarterbacks that he coaches has known Jalen Hurts since he was a kid. So they're setting themselves up for those connections regardless. But to me, when Doug Peterson got sent, that told me everything I needed to know. I don't think that was about the last game of the season. I think he was following orders from above. But when they realized there was not a reconciliation coming between Wentz and Peterson, and they realized that financially they could not get out from under Wentz the way that they could with Peterson, they let him go. I mean, it's not something you usually see from a coach that just won. And I think they're just hoping and praying that the upside that they saw from Wentz earlier will come back. But I think it's going to be a pretty awkward situation going forward, because you have the team seeing in practice every day how both players are playing. And if Hurts looks better and they know it's a financial move, that's not going to sit very well with a bunch of guys that are, going out and getting their butts beat every week.
What was your initial reaction to the Nick Sirianni hire, and has it changed since then?
Well, it's funny because I had so much fun with Campbell and the Lions and the biting off the kneecaps. That's not to say that I don't think he'll be a good coach, although I don't think he'll have success because it's Detroit, so no one ever does. But I was mostly just the idea that that's the thing that's going to inspire confidence is someone talking about gnawing off kneecaps. So then we get instead the quote-unquote intellectual approach from Sirianni, who fumbles and bumbles his way through it. You don't have to be a great public speaker to be a head coach, but you do have to inspire confidence and respect. And so I'm hoping that was just a lot of nerves, and that when he gets into that room, he manages, because like I just said, it would be awkward for anybody walking in there, but he's not walking in there with a whole lot of agency from previous gigs that leaves everyone in that room saying this guy knows what he's doing, and we know that he's going to make us good. So he's going to have to earn that, and it's going to take better than what we saw in that intro presser.
Sarah Spain is the host of Spain and Fitz, weeknights at 7 on 97.3 ESPN. So the 76ers, I want to get your thoughts on that, because last year was one of the most miserable seasons ever. And, yeah, they made the playoffs, but it was painful. And I'm imagining that they have become almost a national story now. They've got Doc Rivers as the coach of the month. Joel Embiid is the player of the month. It feels like this team is so different. But this area knows, is it time that we let our guard down and believe in the Sixers?
It's all in how you operate as a person. I think the NBA is the toughest sport to allow yourself to believe in a team that hasn't done it in the postseason. Look at the Bucks, right? Look at the Rockets over the last few years. There are teams that will continue to get close, and they just can't get over the hump. So if you deprive yourself of the pleasure of enjoying them all season long because you wait to see whether they do it in the postseason, and then they don't, now you didn't even get to enjoy the regular season. So I say dive fully in, allow yourselves to get hurt if it doesn't work out, but enjoy it while you can. Because, listen, my Bulls should have been relegated to the G League. They should adopt the premiership plan. They should relegate teams to the G League until they prove they deserve to be in the NBA. I haven't had a year in a long time where I got to even enjoy the idea that they might be relevant. So while your team is doing what they're doing, and while Joel Embiid seems to have figured out the many disparate parts to his life that were kind of contributing to him not being consistently great, enjoy it. But there's not a single NBA team that I would say, based on their regular season, I have full confidence in the postseason, because we see how it translates in series. It's about coaching. It's about matchups. And a team as great as the Bucks has not been able to push through. So for me, it's the Lakers. And then if the Nets don't implode talent-wise and defense-wise, but the 76ers are right up there this year, so I would say enjoy it while you can.
All right, Sarah Spain, Spain and Fitz. The podcast is That's What She Said with Sarah Spain. Matt James is the guest, and I see that the T says, the flack he's getting for kissing women with his eyes open. My girlfriend says that to me every single time. I hate the fact that he has his eyes open, so I'm glad that you brought that up with him. So check that podcast out and listen for Spain and Fitz. Weeknights at 7 on 97.3 ESPN. Sarah Spain, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, we'll have to do it again. She was fun, and that was an enjoyable conversation. I didn't know that she was having The Bachelor on.